All right, guys, what's going on? Welcome in. So the Jets schedule just came out, and quick little disclaimer: I know this video might not be going up immediately. I actually just wrapped up doing a live kind of reaction with Bleacher Report, so I apologize for the kind of the delayed upload here. But man, I got to be honest. I'm looking at the schedule here. There are some things that I really like. There are some things that I don't really like. Let's break it down. And please let me know your thoughts down below in the comment section. Where do you stand with the schedule? Are you liking it? Are you not liking it? Again, I think quick little broad statement here. It's okay. It's doable. So let's break it down in weeks of 4 here. So week 1, we're at home, Monday Night Football against the Buffalo Bills. Week 2, at the Dallas Cowboys. Week 3, home against the New England Patriots. Week 4, Sunday Night Football against the Kansas City Chiefs. I think instant reaction here, it's tough. It's tough. We have to play some hard coaches: McDermott, Belichick, Andy Reid, McCarthy. I do think Dallas might take a step back in in the coaching department because of the loss of Kellen Moore. But I mean, man, I think in the month of September, we're looking at 2-2, 1-3. Again, this is just kind of rough instant reaction here. My exact schedule prediction should come out tomorrow at some point. I really want to dive in and really take a good look at everything. But this is, again, just kind of the rough outlook right now. I'm thinking 2-2, 1-3 in those first 4 weeks. In the second group of games, we're going week 5 through week 8. Week 5, we're at the Denver Broncos, then home against the Philadelphia Eagles in week 6. Week 7, bye week. Week 8 at the New York Giants, but technically that's still a home game for the Jets. Honestly, I like this group. I like this layout of games here. I'm thinking 2-1. At Denver, I like how we're not going to Denver in December or January. Eagles, we have them early on in the season. I mean, the Eagles are such a fantastic team. Bye week 7, that's huge because, I mean, if you look down the rest of the schedule, we have some really tough games. Chargers at Buffalo. I mean, we have some big games down the stretch here. So I'm happy that the bye week came relatively in the middle of the season. I mean, there's only so much that you can ask for. And then week 8 at New York Giants. I think, again, 2-1 here. The only game I'm really concerned about is Philly, but overall, it's really not that bad. So moving on to the third section here, we got the LA Chargers at Vegas Raiders, at Buffalo Bills, home against the Miami Dolphins. That's the Black Friday game. This is a little questionable for me. I mean, obviously all 4 teams I think are pretty good. I know the Raiders aren't necessarily like favorite to win the Super Bowl or to even win their division, but you still look at the Raiders from a talent perspective, and you have to assume everybody is entering year 2 of the McDaniels offense and the Pat Graham defense. Factor in a free agency class, factor in having a brand new quarterback, Jimmy Garoppolo, brand new draft class as well, where Wilson actually fell to them in the top 10. The point is, I think the Raiders will be better than what they showed last season, and they're at home here. I'm hoping for 2-2 here. Man, I'm also looking at it like at Vegas, at Buffalo, short week, Miami Dolphins. I don't like how there's the 2 back-to-back games, short notice in the AFC East. So a little questionable there. I'm not the biggest fan of this third section here. Okay, so the next group, week 13 through week 16, we're home against the Falcons, then home against the Houston Texans, at the Miami Dolphins, home against the Washington Commanders. I love this. I really love this. I mean, we all know how Aaron Rodgers likes to pick it up late. Granted, it's a new team. Brand new player, just a completely different situation. I'm not really expecting the same exact Aaron Rodgers that we've seen, in these past couple of seasons with Green Bay. So only time will tell, like, how the Jets are going to, fare late in the season. Obviously, they fell apart last season, but it's kind of Rodgers' MO: start slow and then just pedal to the metal late. I mean, this group here is filled with winnable games. Houston, Atlanta, Washington. The Jets are just the better team right now than all 3 when we just look at talent on paper. When we start looking at coaching staffs, I feel good about the Jets compared to although I like Arthur Smith. I respect Ron Rivera. Also, Del Rio's on the staff. I'm thinking 3-1. I think worst case scenario, 3-1 there. And then finishing up the last 2 games here, week 17 at the Cleveland Browns, and then week 18 at the New England Patriots. So finishing off with 2 road games there. Cleveland and New England, again, because it's funny, I feel like every single AFC team that we're talking about here, they're all trending up. Literally, this is just my personal opinion. The only team that I can think of in the AFC that is probably going to take steps backwards is the Titans. I mean, they just lost so many players on the O-line, linebacker. Like, even like the quote unquote bad teams, the Houston Texans and, Indianapolis Colts, I still view them as taking steps in the right direction, better versions of what they were last season. I'm not saying they're, all these teams are going to win 7 games, but, the AFC is stacked. That's really the bottom line here. So all in all, the things that I like, number one, a lot of home games, especially early on. I think that's going to be really important. Obviously, the Jets have a pretty young team, and with a new OC, new play caller, new quarterback, the Jets are going to have to get accustomed quickly against some really good teams, really talented rosters, and really smart coaches here. So it helps that we're going to be at home for the grand majority of the early parts of the season. Another thing, we have to look at the exact splits. 10 home games, 8 away games. Right, originally 9 home games, but we're at the New York Giants. That's a home game. So based off of, if we're just looking at odds, it helps to be at home. Granted, we have to see how the season plays out. Hopefully the Jets are a good home team, but, just naturally speaking, common sense wise, the home team plays better in front of their home crowd than, on the road. And if we're thinking about having 10 home games at our disposal, I mean, that is massive. That is absolutely huge in the grand scheme of things here. Another thing that I really like, just glancing at the schedule, from weeks 6 through 8, that's 3 straight weeks of no travel. 3 straight home games. Home against the Eagles, bye week, no game, week 8 at Giants. So 3 straight games that the Jets don't have to go, travel to any other cities. It could be somewhat, obviously they have to go out and play the 2 games against 2 good teams in the Giants and the Eagles, but that could be a nice stretch of weeks here where they can re-energize, rejuvenate, and lock in for the second half of the season. So I really, really like that nice 3-week stretch there, all at home. Another thing that really stands out here, and we talked a little bit about it before, from weeks 13 through week 16, I guess a quick spoiler for the record prediction. I mean, I don't see this changing. I think worst case scenario here, barring any crazy injuries, it's 3-1. 3-1 in the month of, what is that? That's December. That's December here. So, I mean, you can pick up 3 solid wins: Atlanta, Houston, Washington. And this is assuming the Jets were to lose in Miami, worst case scenario. And that is a winnable game here. I mean, let's face it, with Aaron Rodgers, every game is winnable. But 3-1 at the worst in the late portion of the season in December. Sign me up for that every single day of the week. But there are some things I don't really like about the schedule. I guess let's start early, talking about the first 4 weeks here. Again, of course, they're good teams, but we're facing Andy Reid in September. I mean, it's just good luck. I mean, Andy Reid just dominates in the month of September. Bill Belichick, McDermott, McCarthy. I mean, we're starting off the season. Granted, we're at home. I like that, but we have a tough stretch. I guess it's all personal preference at the end of the day, and the Jets are going to have to play these teams at some point in time. But ideally for me, I would like to play a team like Houston. I would like to play a team like Washington. Early on, because if there are if there's a mistake or two, if there is maybe a lack of chemistry early on, you can live with it. You're not so scared of like Sam Howell and the Commanders dropping 40 on you in like week 2, or like CJ Stroud, rookie quarterback, rookie head coach. Like Houston has a lot of things going on. how are they really going to look? You have more of a leash to make mistakes. Whereas with teams like the Chiefs and the Bills and even the Patriots to a certain degree, you can't go out there and turn the ball over multiple times. You can't have mental errors. You can't have like poor throws and penalties all over the place. Not saying that that's going to happen, but again, early on with a bunch of new faces, a new OC, new play caller, new quarterback, there is going to be somewhat of a learning curve, somewhat of an adjustment period, kind of an onboarding, like onboarding onto like going onto a highway. It's going to take some time to ramp up. It's not just, maybe I could be dead wrong. Maybe the Jets are hanging 40 on these guys right out of the gate. I would love that. But realistically speaking, just looking at the history of the NFL, typically it takes new quarterbacks and new destinations to get going a little bit. And also looking at Aaron Rodgers' career throughout his time, starts slow, picks it up late. So that's really my first gripe. My second, in the third section of games from weeks 9 through 12. I guess the Jets are playing the Chargers. It is what it is. The Jets are going to have to play them regardless. So I think my gripe for the schedule specifically, when looking at week 10 through week 12, it's at Vegas, at Buffalo, short week, home against the Dolphins on a Friday game in the middle of the day at 3 p.m. Eastern. A weird time to begin with, but more importantly, and we talked about it before, it's two back-to-back AFC rivalry games. I have to double check the Dolphins schedule and the Bills schedules here to see who those two teams are playing. But right off the bat, first instant reaction here, I'm not really liking that setup going out west, then up to Buffalo, and then a short week Dolphins. I can't really get behind it. But all in all, I'm thinking the floor for this team, 8 wins. Worst case scenario, again, assuming everybody's healthy, I think the ceiling, best case scenario, like 12 wins. I think that's realistic. Maybe the Jets finish somewhere in between. I think there's some. I'm not gonna say easy or anything like that, but there are some winnable games here. And I do think the Jets might split with a couple division rivals. I'm gonna have to dive into it more. Really do research on who these other teams are playing right around the same time that they're linking up with the Jets. But all in all, I feel good about the schedule. I'm not like over the moon, like totally amped up, like we're going 14 wins, 13 wins, but I don't mind it. It's not horrible. Yes, there are some things I don't like, but at the end of the day, this is the NFL. Pressure's on. The pressure's on. The Jets have to get a lot of wins this season, and should be a lot of fun. So anyway, let me know your thoughts down below in the comment section. Thanks so much for watching, and as always, go Jets.